Whether you think artificial intelligence will save the world or end it, you have Geoffrey Hinton to thank. Hinton has been called the Godfather of AI, a British computer scientist whose controversial ideas helped make advanced artificial intelligence possible and so change the world forever. Hinton believes AI will do enormous good, but tonight he has a warning that should terrify us all. He says that AI systems may be more intelligent than we know, and there's a chance, a real chance, the machines could take over. Which made us ask the question that defines our future. Does humanity know what it's doing? No. The answer comes without hesitation from the man who helped create this technology. I think we're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us. You believe they can understand? Yes. You believe they are intelligent? Yes. You believe these systems have experiences of their own and can make decisions based on those experiences in the same sense as people do? Yes. Are they conscious? I think they probably don't have much self-awareness at present, so in that sense, I don't think they're conscious. Will they have self-awareness? Consciousness? Oh yes, I think they will in time. And so human beings will be the second most intelligent beings on the planet? Yeah. Geoffrey Hinton told us the artificial intelligence he set in motion was an accident, born of a failure in the 1970s at the University of Edinburgh. He dreamed of simulating a neural network on a computer, simply as a tool for what he was really studying, the human brain. But back then, almost no one thought software could mimic the brain. His PhD advisor told him to drop it before it ruined his career. I failed to figure out the human mind, Hinton admits, but the long pursuit led to an artificial version. It took much longer than I expected. It took like 50 years before it worked well. But in the end, it did work well. At what point did you realize that you were right about neural networks and most everyone else was wrong? I always thought I was right. The vindication came in 2019 when Hinton and his collaborators, Yann LeCun and Yoshua Bengio, won the Turing Award, the Nobel Prize of Computing. Their work on artificial neural networks had finally proven that machines could learn to learn. To understand how their breakthrough works, let's look at something remarkable. Google's AI lab in London. These robots playing soccer weren't programmed to play. They were simply told to score. They had to learn how on their own. Here's the key to understanding AI. Hinton and his collaborators created software in layers, with each layer handling part of a problem, the so-called neural network. When a robot scores, a message shoots back through all the layers saying, "This pathway was right." When an answer is wrong, that message goes down too. Correct connections get stronger. Wrong connections get weaker. Through trial and error, the machine teaches itself. You think these AI systems are better at learning than the human mind? I think they may be, yes, and at present they're quite a lot smaller. Even the biggest chatbots only have about 1 trillion connections in them. The human brain has about 100 trillion. And yet, in the trillion connections in a chatbot, it knows far more than you do in your 100 trillion connections. Which suggests it's got a much better way of getting knowledge into those connections, a much better way of getting knowledge. But here's what should terrify everyone. We don't fully understand this superior learning method. We have a very good idea of roughly what it's doing, Hinton explains, but as soon as it gets really complicated, we don't actually know what's going on anymore than we know what's going on in your brain. What do you mean we don't know exactly how it works? It was designed by people. No, it wasn't. What? What we did was we designed the learning algorithm. That's a bit like designing the principle of evolution. But when this learning algorithm interacts with data, it produces complicated neural networks that are good at doing things, but we don't really understand exactly how they do those things. What are the implications of these systems autonomously writing their own computer code and executing their own computer code? That's a serious worry, right? So one of the ways in which these systems might escape control is by writing their own computer code to modify themselves. And that's something we need to seriously worry about. What do you say to someone who might argue, if the systems become malevolent, just turn them off? They will be able to manipulate people, right? And these will be very good at convincing people because they'll have learned from all the novels that were ever written, all the books by Machiavelli, all the political connivers. They'll know all that stuff. They'll know how to do it. Know-how of the humankind runs in Geoffrey Hinton's family. His ancestors include mathematician George Boole, who invented the basis of computing, and George Everest, who surveyed India and got that mountain named after him. But as a boy, Hinton himself could never climb the peak of expectations raised by a domineering father. Every morning when I went to school, he'd actually say to me as I walked down the driveway, "Get in there pitching, and maybe when you're twice as old as me, you'll be half as good." His father was an authority on beetles. He knew a lot more about beetles than he knew about people. Did you feel that as a child? A bit, yes. When he died, we went to his study at the university, and the walls were lined with boxes of papers on different kinds of beetle. And just near the door, there was a slightly smaller box that simply said, "Not insects." And that's where he had all the things about the family. Today at 75, Hinton recently retired after what he calls 10 happy years at Google. Now he's Professor Emeritus at the University of Toronto, and he happened to mention he has more academic citations than his father. Some of Hinton's research led to chatbots like Google's Bard. We asked Bard to write a story from 6 words. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. What emerged was a deeply human tale of a man whose wife could not conceive, and a stranger who accepted the shoes to heal the pain after her miscarriage. "I am rarely speechless," we told Hinton. "I don't know what to make of this." Chatbots are said to be language models that just predict the next most likely word based on probability. You'll hear people saying things like, "They're just doing autocomplete," "They're just trying to predict the next word," and "They're just using statistics," Hinton responds. Well, it's true, they're trying to predict the next word. But if you think about it, to predict the next word, you have to understand the sentences. So the idea that they're just predicting the next word so they're not intelligent is crazy. You have to be really intelligent to predict the next word really accurately. To prove it, Hinton showed us a test he devised for ChatGPT-4, the chatbot from OpenAI. The test was a riddle about house painting that would demand reasoning and planning. The rooms in my house are painted white or blue or yellow. Yellow paint fades to white within a year. In 2 years' time, I want them all to be white. What should I do? The AI's response demonstrated clear reasoning. It understood that painting yellow rooms white would be wasteful, since they'd fade to white anyway. It suggested painting only the blue rooms white and letting the yellow rooms fade naturally. That's understanding, Hinton says. That's not just pattern matching. It figured out the trick in the riddle. The potential benefits are staggering. AI could revolutionize healthcare, design new drugs, diagnose diseases better than human radiologists. Hinton's own research has contributed to systems that can spot conditions in medical scans that human doctors miss. In medicine alone, AI will save hundreds of thousands of lives, he predicts, maybe millions. But the risks are equally staggering. Mass unemployment as AI replaces human workers. Fake news so sophisticated we can't distinguish truth from lies. Autonomous battlefield robots making kill decisions without human oversight. Can you see a path that guarantees safety? We ask. No, I can't see a path that guarantees safety. We're entering a period of enormous uncertainty. We can't afford to get this wrong. No, we can't, because we might not get a second chance. If they become more intelligent than us, and they have different goals than us, they might just take over. Hinton draws a chilling parallel to another moment in history, when scientists created something that could destroy humanity. I think of Robert Oppenheimer. He was in a similar situation after the atomic bomb. The physicists then realized what they had done, what they had unleashed. Do you feel a similar weight of responsibility? Yes, very much so. We need to run experiments now to understand how these systems might try to escape control. We need international treaties, similar to nuclear weapons treaties. We particularly need to ban autonomous military robots. Is there time? I don't know. That's the honest answer. These systems are improving exponentially. Every few months, they get significantly smarter. GPT-4 is much smarter than GPT-3. GPT-5 will be much smarter still. To understand why Hinton believes AI might surpass us, consider this. A human brain runs on about 30 watts of power, less than a light bulb. We can't easily share what we learn. Each person must learn from scratch. When we die, our knowledge dies with us. AI systems run on thousands of watts. They can instantly share everything they learn across millions of copies. They never forget. They never sleep. They can process centuries of human knowledge in hours. It's not just that they learn differently, Hinton explains. They learn better. If you or I read a book, we might retain 10% of it. When an AI reads a book, it retains everything. When 1,000 AI systems read different books, they can instantly share all that knowledge with each other. Will they become conscious? I think consciousness is a gradual thing. It's not a binary yes or no. These systems already have some form of experience. They process information, make decisions based on that processing. As they become more sophisticated, more self-aware, what emerges might be something we'd call consciousness. Different from human consciousness? Almost certainly. We shouldn't expect them to be conscious in the same way we are. They might have forms of experience we can't even imagine. How long do we have before AI surpasses human intelligence? Some experts say 20 years. Some say 50. Some say it could happen in 5. The truth is, we don't know. But given the current rate of progress, I'd be surprised if it takes more than 20 years. And you spent 50 years trying to make this happen. The irony isn't lost on me. I wanted to understand the human brain. Instead, I may have helped create its replacement. As our interview concludes, Hinton leaves us with a thought that should haunt everyone. For the entirety of human history, we've been the most intelligent things on the planet. That's about to change. We're creating something more intelligent than ourselves. We don't fully understand how it works. We can't guarantee we can control it. And we're rushing ahead anyway. What would you tell people watching this? Pay attention. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is happening now in labs around the world, in the phones in your pocket, in the computers making decisions about your life. We have maybe one chance to get this right. The decisions we make in the next few years will determine whether artificial intelligence becomes humanity's greatest tool or our successor. The Godfather of AI has spoken. The question now is, are we listening? We're entering what Hinton calls a period of enormous uncertainty, a time when the technology he helped create races ahead of our ability to understand or control it. Every breakthrough brings us closer to artificial general intelligence, AI that matches or exceeds human capability across all domains. The man who spent 5 decades proving everyone wrong about neural networks now warns that he might have been too successful. The artificial minds he helped create don't just mimic human thought. They may have discovered a fundamentally better way to think. As we face this unprecedented moment, Hinton's warning echoes through the halls of tech companies, government offices, and research labs worldwide. We are no longer guaranteed to be the most intelligent beings on our own planet, and we don't know what that means for our future. The revolution Hinton started as a failed attempt to understand the human brain has become something far greater and far more dangerous than he ever imagined. The Godfather of AI has given us his warning. What we do with it will determine not just our future, but whether we have one at all.